Hey guys, it's Katie. So I started already like moisturizing my face and then I thought, maybe I should film this. And actually today, while I'm getting ready with you guys, I'm going to be talking about the case of the missing Coachella couple. I wanted to do this one because it's pretty close to my house. Obviously, I'm sure you guys have heard of Coachella before. It's like an area where there's a big music festival every year. And I've never been to Coachella, but I have been to Stagecoach, which is like a huge country music festival. And it's like in the neighboring city to Coachella. So Coachella is very close to like Palm Springs, Palm Desert, that sort of area. And it's not too far away from my house. So this case obviously caught my attention for that very reason. And I think like when people go missing or when there's like a big murder or there's a big like missing persons case in your area, it kind of like reminds you that this could happen to anyone. And I think it really catches people's attention when it's close to home like that too. So I am just getting ready. It's a very simple day today. I'm gonna go look for some toys for my dogs for Christmas from Santa Claus. And so I'm not doing anything too like over the top or anything like that. I just need to put on a little something. And I thought that it would be a good opportunity to talk to you guys about this case. I'm sure some of you guys are familiar with it. I'm not like, I've been following it, but there really hasn't been a lot of recent updates on this case. And the positive person inside of me likes to think that that's because the police think that they're getting close and they don't want to release too much information in order to kind of mess up that investigation. So I will just kind of tell you guys a little bit of what I know and any updates that I've been able to find or any theories that I think could be true or that are like circling. So first off, if I'm looking over here, it's because this is where my monitor is and my computer, and if I forget any names or anything like that in the case, I want to be able to quickly look it up. So, this case, like I said, happened in Coachella. The girl's name is Audrey, and the guy's name is Jonathan. And so Audrey and Jonathan were apparently a couple, but not like officially a couple, if you know what I mean. So I guess that they were kind of like in that hanging out stage of their relationship. And Audrey, she was at her sister's home in Coachella, and she left her sister's home because she said that she was going to go pick up Jonathan, which was the guy that she was apparently seeing at the time. And this happened on May 10th, 2017. So Audrey was supposed to pick up Jonathan from some random location as he was in Brawley that day. Now, I'm not familiar with Brawley or that location at all. I've never heard of where Brawley is. I have no idea. But apparently it was about an hour away from Coachella. So she was going to go pick him up. Apparently Jonathan didn't have a car and he was struggling like financially, and I'll get into that in a little bit. So she was going to go pick him up, but he was apparently in Brawley with some friends, but it came out later that his like actual real group of friends had no idea who these friends were and had no idea why he was in Brawley. So she was going to go pick him up and then take him to his home in Palm Desert. And so I'm guessing apparently he didn't have a car. I'm not sure how he got to Brawley because he didn't have a car and he obviously needed to be picked up from Audrey. Like this whole case is super confusing to me. It seems like there's a lot of missing information or a lot of information out there that just isn't true. And that's what makes this case kind of difficult to follow. Later that night, she texts a family member a picture of her and Jonathan, kind of like as in a, hey, I'm with Jonathan, we're okay, don't worry about it. It was like a picture that she sent a family member. Kind of like if your mom says, hey, where are you? And you say, oh, I'm with so-and-so, and then you text a picture of you and them together. I don't know, I guess just to kind of like further prove that that's where you are. So she did that. And so I guess the family members like weren't really worried because they just thought, oh, she's with Jonathan. Well, come to find out later, that was an old picture that was just in her like photos on her phone already. So it wasn't like she was with him and texted, took a selfie right away with him and then sent it. It was already it was a picture that had already been previously taken, which is kind of strange because then you're like, okay, when, like, I don't know, it just seems odd that you would do that. Like if somebody said, hey, where are you? Or hey, checking in on you, you wouldn't say, oh, I'm with so-and-so, and then pull a picture from your photo album to send to them. You know what I mean? Like, I just think that that's kind of strange. But anywho, so, and that was the last communication that anybody ever had with Audrey. And they don't even know if that was actually with Audrey or not. Because, like I said, it was an old picture. It's kind of strange. Somebody could have had her phone. There could have been a lot of things that happened in between the time that they actually last saw Audrey leave the house to go pick up Jonathan and receiving that text picture. Later that night, both Audrey and Jonathan's phones were turned off. Their family could not get through to them. So the next day, so obviously that family, was worried, called police. The next day, the police go out to search for Audrey's car, and they use OnStar to find her car. And it's parked off the side of the freeway about an hour outside of Coachella, which is just, like, strange. I think it was the 10 freeway, if I'm not mistaken. And, like, there's no way, like, that freeway is busy, there's constantly traffic going in and out of Palm Springs area. Like if there's a car on the side of the road on that freeway, you're going to notice. So obviously the police searched the car, couldn't find anything, obviously didn't find Audrey or Jonathan, didn't find any cell phones or anything. But at the same time, they didn't think that they were runaways. I wouldn't think that they're runaways because, like I said, they weren't officially dating. It's not like they were, they had gotten in a fight with their family. It's not like they were, family was disapproving of their relationship and they had a reason to get away from family. The only thing that I can think of that would prove that they ran away, which I don't believe, is that Jonathan was actually going through a really difficult time financially. He was let go from his job. He worked in the medical field. He was let go from his job. He was behind on his rent, and he was like on the verge of being evicted. And he was, I think, $2,000 behind on his rent in his apartment. So obviously when people are going through financial issues, it's kind of like, okay, maybe they did just want to like get away and start a new life over. But I can't see him doing it with Audrey, or I can't see Audrey being okay with that. She was close with her family. She wasn't going through any financial hardships. She didn't really have much of a reason to run away with Jonathan. So I don't think that that theory is very valid. And later it comes out that after looking at like cell phone pings, that Audrey never left Coachella. So where was she? And how did her car, was her car found an hour outside of Coachella if her cell phone shows that she never left the area? I find that very, very strange. Another thing is that Jonathan may have never been in Brawley, which, like I said, is about an hour outside Coachella. And so if he was never in Brawley, then where was Audrey going to supposedly pick him up if he was never there? The reason why people think that he was never in Brawley is because he had a pizza ordered at his house that would not, like, by the time he had ordered the pizza and received the pizza was actually delivered. There would be no way that he would have enough time to order that pizza, receive that pizza, be in Brawley, and be back in Brawley because it was so far away. So a lot of people believe that he never went to Brawley, And it doesn't really make sense that he was there anyways, just simply because his close friends, like he had a really close group of friends, they were like, we don't know who these people are that he was in Brawley with if he did go. And if he did go to Brawley, we don't know who he was with. And if he did go to Brawley, who in the heck ordered and received that pizza at his house that night? So the whole thing is just so strange. Like the timestamp of everything, like the timeline just doesn't really seem to match up. Like, I think that maybe somebody wasn't telling the truth. Like, maybe Audrey did go to pick him up, but it wasn't in Brawley. Like, she mentioned it. Well, I don't know. There's so many questions in this case. Like, was he in Brawley? Was he not in Brawley? Why would he lie about being in Brawley? Why was he trying to, like, if he wasn't in Brawley, why was he texting Audrey to pick him up in Brawley? Or did he even text her to pick him up in Brawley? These are some of the things that have not been released yet. Here's the kicker. Audrey had an ex-boyfriend who apparently was not, like, the best influence. Like, I guess neighbors say that he partied a lot, like always had people over, that kind of thing. Which, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. They're like in their 20s, whatever. If you have a home, you're allowed to have people over at your house. But I guess the neighbors were kind of like, you know, it was constant. People were always, you know, in and out of that house. And then after this happened, it just kind of stopped. Like, he stopped having people over at the house. And a few days after Audrey's disappearance, this ex-boyfriend of hers set his car on fire. Like, you don't set your own car on fire unless you have something to hide. And the timing of it, like being 3 days after she went missing, is just very, very strange to me. So basically, I know this is like so confusing because the facts are just kind of like all over the place. But basically, they said that Audrey said she was going to go pick up Jonathan. Her phone shows that she never left Coachella. She sent her family a picture of her and Jonathan together. What I'd like to know is what time that picture was sent, because if her phone pings say she never left Coachella, what time was that picture sent, you know? And like, can they tell where she was when that picture was sent? Because could it have been she was already gone by then and somebody else was using her phone? You know, like, that to me is a very big possibility. The whole pizza thing is very strange to me. I'd like to know, like, did anybody talk to the pizza delivery guy? Like, as far as law enforcement is concerned, did the pizza delivery guy confirm that it was actually Jonathan that answered the door to receive the pizza? I have some questions about that. Like, was there somebody in his home? Why lie? If he wasn't in Brawley, why lie about needing to be picked up in Brawley? I don't really understand a lot of it. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me at all. So it kind of drives me crazy, to be honest. Like, if they talk to the pizza delivery guy, if he cannot confirm that it was Jonathan who actually answered the door and received the pizza, then who was it? And who was the last person to see Jonathan? Like, did Audrey ever even make it to Jonathan? I don't know. I have so many questions. Like, the ex-boyfriend torching his car is obviously extremely suspicious to me. I don't know why a person would torch their car unless they had something to hide and they knew that somebody was going to come talk to them. I mean, the police are always going to come talk to boyfriends, girlfriends, ex-boyfriends, ex-girlfriends in a case like this, because not many other people are going to have motive to do something like that, you know? I don't know. There haven't been many updates on this, I think, since like April 2017. And I think that that's because, well, I'm hoping anyways, that the police actually have a feeling that they know who did this or what happened. They just have to find the evidence in order to make an arrest. I also don't know if there's any evidence to the ex-boyfriend wanting to get back together with Audrey. I haven't really heard anything about that, but that would provide a little bit more information on a motive for him. But as far as I know, like, he, I don't know, wasn't really actively trying to like win her back. But if he was trying to get her back, or if he had problems with Audrey, then this whole thing would make a little bit more sense. Like, all I can think of is, you know, maybe the ex-boyfriend had something to do with it, that he somehow went to Jonathan's house and got him to go with him somewhere, and then forced Jonathan to call Audrey and ask for a ride, which would get Audrey to go with them too, or be like allow them to be able to track down Audrey. And that's the only thing that I could think of, so that the ex-boyfriend could hurt Jonathan and Audrey together. I don't know. Another theory is that this is like a drug deal gone wrong. The only reason why this makes sense to me, I don't have any information on Jonathan or Audrey being drug dealers or drug users even, but you know, sometimes in desperate situations when you're really struggling financially, you're going to take more risks in order to get money. And so to me, that kind of makes sense, because if Jonathan was really struggling that bad financially, maybe he would have been that desperate to do some sort of shady drug deal in order to get some money to pay off some of his debts and get his life together again. I just don't know why he would involve Audrey, unless he really did need a ride home or something. I don't know. The whole thing is so confusing to me. It also could have been the ex-boyfriend using Jonathan's phone the whole time until he was able to get Audrey. Like, maybe he actually went to Jonathan's house after he had ordered the pizza and hurt Jonathan, and then used Jonathan's phone to get to Audrey, to encourage her to pick him up from Brawley, and then that's how he got to Audrey. The whole thing is just so strange. So then that would mean that Jonathan was already killed by the time the ex-boyfriend got to Audrey, and maybe he just forced Audrey to go with him somewhere because obviously she had already seen what he was capable of, and because of what he had done to Jonathan already. The last time Jonathan's friends had actually talked to him, they were doing like a group text, and they were all laughing at some meme, and everybody was responding, and Jonathan's response was, "I'm dying right now," which people say all the time when, you know, you're dying of laughter. But it was just kind of an eerie thing for them to look back on, because, I mean, was he actually dying at that moment, or did this all happen before something happened to Jonathan? This is definitely a case that has truly bothered me, and every so often I'll go online and I'll look to see if there's any updates, and it's just the same news articles from when it actually happened, which is kind of discouraging, but at the same time, maybe the police just aren't releasing a lot of information because they think that they're getting close. For eyeshadow, all I'm going to do is take this Bobbi Brown bronzer and buff a little bit of color into my crease, and that's pretty much it. It's going to be a very simple eye look today. What do you guys think happened? Had you heard of this case before? Is this the first time you're hearing about it? It's just so, like, I contemplated doing a video on this for a while, but because like the information, there's so little information and it's just so strange and jumbled and not a lot of it makes sense, I kind of hesitated because I knew that making a video about this would be very confusing and difficult to follow. But I hope that I was as clear as I could possibly be about presenting the information that is available, because it's just, I don't know, it bothers me. You know, I love this bronzer on my cheeks, but on my eyelids it's really patchy. Okay, so now that I have that eyeshadow on, it's a little bit better. It's not the best, but it'll do. Okay, so that's pretty much it about the Coachella thing. Like, I don't know. I have no answers. The only thing I can think of is that the ex-boyfriend had something to do with it, just simply because he torched his car. And no one torches their car. Like, if you have a car, even if it's like a big piece of junk, you're gonna at least try to sell it, at least for like parts or something. Like, you're not gonna torch it, you know? Go ahead. This makeup is like patchy as heck. I'm gonna go ahead and put a little bit of bronzer from this Hourglass palette on my cheeks. Hourglass just makes everything better. Like, it literally just like melts everything into the skin. So if you're having like patchy problems, Hourglass can help. This blush has been my favorite blush for a while now. Well, ever since I got it. This is the what is this called? Charlotte Tilbury blush in Ecstasy. It's so good. So good. I'm just going to use the same brush. Just do a little swirl, pop. Have you guys been watching Dirty John? I did a video on that podcast a long time ago now. So you can probably find it if you search for it on my channel if you want to listen to it. It was a podcast about a woman from Orange County who was rich and had 2 daughters, and she was looking for love, and she just got really taken advantage of by this guy named John. John was basically a con artist and conned his way into pretty much everything in life. He lied about being a doctor. He lied about going to war. He just lied about everything, and he kind of like weaseled his way into buying this beach house with this woman, and she believed him for like a long, long time, and the daughters were saying like, no, this guy's not good, he's bad news, you need to get away from him. And she was just so blinded by love, like she loved him, that she didn't listen to them until finally she starts to catch on. I mean, he had been in prison before, like he was just not what he said he was. And so I listened to the podcast a while ago now, but now Bravo has made it into like a mini series, and it's on right now if you guys want to watch. It's actually really good. Even Ricky really likes it, and he likes like true crime, but he's not into it as much as I am. Like, I'm true crime obsessed, but he really likes the show too. I'm using this lash boost on my eyes right now, or on my eyelashes, to make them grow, and I think it's finally working, but my lower lashes are like out of control long. Like, look at this bad boy. Let me get some of the mascara off of him so he doesn't look so out of control. But man, they are long. Okay. So yes, if you don't already, you should definitely watch Dirty John. And let's see, what should we use for a lip? I think I'm going to do just this. This is the Bite Beauty lip pencil, the number 20. These went on sale, but I don't know if they're being discontinued or if they're still on sale or available. I just overdrew my lip on that side by a mile. And then I'm just using this, what's it called? Fussy by Fenty. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was super random. We're talking about a few different things here, but I hope you guys enjoyed anyways, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!